Starchy had exploded in the graveyard, but in the scene after, Finn suggests playing Blockado. Starchy could have been seen with all the other candy people. When Jake was surprised with the castle became blue, Peppermint Butler is seen without his white collar and his tuxedo. In the scene where the candy people are entering the castle, if you look closely, you can see Mr. Cupcake's wrapper is brown before the Truth or Dare part comes along. Also, you can see Finn coming in through the window as a zombie, even though he didn't get turned into a zombie. LSP's size changes throughout the episode. When she bit Jake's leg, she is Jake size, but when she says her parents are horrible idiots, she is slightly larger than Finn. When LSP brings Finn and Jake over to the cotton candy forest saying, "Don't go telling everyone about this portal," or whatever, she has no arms. Finn and Jake sled past a squirrel in a tree with its top cut off. Ice King drops the fun tray on the floor, but in wider shots it is nowhere to be seen. A gem on the Ice King's crown disappears for a couple of frames while he was playing the drums. Jake says, "Well, why'd you capture 6 of them if you were just going to marry one, even though there are 7 princesses?" Ice King also said that his chances were ruined with 5 or 6 potential wives. However, this could be acknowledging that Lumpy Space Princess is only 14 or 15 at that time, learned from a flashback in the episode The Eyes, and Ice King in Mortal Recoil expressed a lack of interest in 13-year-old version of Bubblegum. He cannot touch Ghost Princess. For a few frames while Finn is on the Ice King, after kicking him to the ground, Finn has a unibrow. When the Ice King rises as monsters of snow, his powers are yellow. Later they are light blue. When the Ice King freezes Finn and Jake, Jake's mouth closes for a few frames as if he is talking. After Jake says, whoa Finn, don't dump the Ice King on me," his same pose is frozen until the Ice King gets punched and gets knocked out. When Tree Trunks puts her picnic basket down, the rope disappeared. There is a rug in front of Tree Trunks' house, and when Tree Trunks calls Finn and Jake in, the rug disappears. When Jake is drinking from the peanut cup, it looks like he is drinking milk, seeing a drip of white coming from his mouth, but when he spits it out, the drink looks like it is tea or coffee. Tree Trunks' house has less detail throughout the episode. When Jake spits out his drink, the mess from his mouth is gone. When Finn is telling Tree Trunks to stay out of the Crystal Guardian fight, Jake's mouth disappears. When Finn slashes off the flesh monster's arm, the stickers on the flesh monster disappear. The sign zombies change continuously. When Princess Bubblegum shows the Enchiridion to Finn, the Enchiridion has nothing on the edges, only the skull, sword, and bird are seen. In the next flashback, however, the Enchiridion seems normal. When Finn and Jake are talking to the Keeper, he has 3 fingers, but when he is shown close up talking to Finn, he has 4. After Finn exits the Dark Magician's brain world, Jake does not say anything, and is not even in the scene until he just ends up next to Finn when Manish Man arrives. When Finn runs to save Princess Bubblegum, Gingerbread Muto only has 2 buttons and one is green instead of red. At the picnic table, 2 old women were zapped away by the winged gnomes, appear then disappear. Cinnamon Bun's name is misspelled as Cinnamon Bun in the credits. In the hall where Dark Magician is waiting, the wall behind him has no door on it. However, once Finn destroys the magician, a door suddenly appears. When Finn is making drawings for the Jiggler to eat, Jake colors the banana yellow and the corn red, but when Finn holds up the drawings, the banana and the corn are both yellow, and the drawing of the meat is colored red. In the scene when the Jiggler starts to dance, Finn is holding his toothbrush in his right hand. However, after zooming in on the Jiggler, Finn is holding his toothbrush with his left hand. When Finn and Jake slide off the Gumball Guardian, it is not wearing its cone hat. As soon as the Ice King gets his heart back, he momentarily loses his eyebrows. In certain shots of the businessmen riding in the robot, they all have red ties, but a later scene shows that only one has a red tie and the others wore blue. When Finn hears the fuzzy friends calling for help and says, "Jake, did you hear that?" he is not wearing his backpack, but he is wearing it as soon as the camera switches back to him. When a shot of the treehouse is shown, it has a completely different build to the other episodes. This may not be an error, and Finn and Jake may have merely rebuilt the treehouse from a previous event, causing the treehouse damage so much that they had to rebuild the whole thing. Finn states that he cannot take off the rings, however, he is not wearing them in the next scene. When Jake arrives at Lady's house, his bike is missing its basket. When Jake is lying on his back while the various animals are petting him, the small giraffe appears to be layered in front of him instead of behind, making his legs go over top of Jake's feet. During the meteor crash, Buffa retains his clothes despite everyone else's being burned off. Marceline and Jake say good night, but when the clouds clear up, it is morning. However, Marceline may have done this due to the fact that she is nocturnal. When Finn and Jake go house hunting, first they are heading for the Ice Kingdom, but it is unknown why they go to the Ice Kingdom at the end of their house hunting. In some episodes, it is shown that Marceline can be hurt or even vanish if she doesn't wear a hat or an umbrella to protect herself from the sun. However, in a flashback where Marceline rides the goldfish beast in her school, she doesn't wear any protection when the scene is clearly day. Marceline drops her duffel bag on the floor when she got into the house and it scares Finn and Jake, but when she burns off the candles around inside the room, her duffel bag is missing. There has been much confusion about Tree Trunks being at the housewarming party in this episode, if she was transported to the Crystal Dimension, but Penward stated that they created Evicted before Tree Trunks. The nut creatures are seen crawling at Marceline's arm before Finn wipes his face, but when Finn does it, the sound of the nut creatures is still heard, but Marceline's arm is down and they actually don't appear anymore. During the house hunting song, when Finn and Jake are running away from the frog and the shell, Jake's eyes have normal pupils. When Jake stretches up and brings Finn to reach the cloud house, Finn's backpack is gone. When Marceline shows the nut creatures to Finn and Jake, she has 5 fingers instead of 4. The number of fingers on characters' hands change depending on the circumstances. Also, when Marceline shows her logo M behind a rock in Finn and Jake's cave, she has 5 fingers. When Marceline was scaring Finn and Jake when she was tapping on the window, her teeth were spaced and some are missing, though she really has regular teeth minus the fangs. When Marceline gets upset and turns into her beast form to fight Finn over Jake, the bass guitar is placed near her left arm, but when Marceline transforms into her normal body and kisses Finn, the bass guitar appeared near her right arm. When Marceline touches Finn's chest, she doesn't have anything in her hand, but when she said that she eats red, in her hand appears a strawberry. When the king worm forces Finn and Jake to hug him, the crown is placed on the top right of his head, but when the king worm is facing the screen, his crown is placed on the top left. In one scene just before Finn is about to clean Penny with soap, Jake appears to be pure. Immediately after Finn and Jake clean Penny, Finn's new weapon disappears from his waist. They return in the next shot. When Finn grabs Penny, telling her to never say that, his arm is the same color as Penny's skin. In one scene before Finn becomes a thief, his shirt is a darker shade of blue, most likely because of the lighting, but his pants do not change color. Finn put bells on Jake's fingers so he could detect him stealing, but when they and Penny climb to the Tower of Thieves, they disappear. However, they could have just taken them off screen. When Jake jumps out of the window, he gets bruises on his face, but when he gets up, they disappear. At the end of the Ice King's dream, where he watches the sunset with Nepter's face is shown to be on the wrong side. Originally, his face is left on the microwave door. This time, however, it is shown on the right. After Jake goes to bed at the start of the episode after pranking Finn has butter on his hands, but when he reads his book, his hands are clean and stay clean for the rest of the time he is in the house. After Jake's 3-step plan, Finn gives Jake 2 black eyes, but in the next scenes, after getting the submarine, he does not have any black eyes and seems to have miraculously recovered. When Jake shatters the faux bedroom he created, the shark jaw that Finn keeps above his bed falls into the water. However, in the next scene, it is sitting on top of the headboard. When Finn is hit by a drop of water and begins to scream, he has a uvula. However, the uvula disappears when his arm passes in front of his mouth. When Jake moves Finn's feet, Finn's shoes are visible. In the next shot, there are no shoes on the beach. When the Ice King freezes both Jake and a penguin, their bow ties disappear. When Jake takes his rings off and touches the Ice King's beard, Old Lady Princess still has huge eyes. After Jake touches the Ice King's beard, his other hand disappears. The Ice King's crown is shorter when he was trying to convince Finn and Jake to throw him a Manlarette party. When the swans are kissing, the female is right and the male is left. When the male swallows the female, their sides are switched. The female bear with a heart on her belly has the light glare on her heart briefly switch from the right side to the left side when she winks. The glare is also on the left side instead of the right when her boyfriend pushes Ice King away. Nothing wrong here. Move along. When Finn and Jake start talking at the meeting of Ooh Royality, Jake is sitting next to the Marquis of Nuts and Finn is on the right of Jake. But when the squirrel reveals himself, Jake is on the right and Finn is on the left. When Jake's butt inflates and he says, "Come on, kick my butt," his nose is white instead of black. When Finn returns to the village with Donnie, his pack is damaged from the Y-Wolf attack earlier. However, the pack is repaired when he and Jake are walking away. Also, when Finn returns to the village with Donnie, his rip sleeve is longer than his whole one. When BMO is put back on the table, the letters on her side say BWO instead of BMO. After Finn knocks the first Y-Wolf down the old well, the jail sign reads Gile until he turns around. Different shots of Marceline's skeleton army show different numbers in the group. The aerial shot shows 12, but a closer shot shows at least 14. Before Marceline goes inside the house to feed, while she is saying, "Sounds like dinner," her fangs are blunt. This also happened after Marceline winks to Finn. At the beginning of the episode, Finn has the to-do list written on his arm, but it disappears for the rest of the episode after Finn comments on the knife storm being beautiful. When Finn steps on the floor and sets his foot on fire, BMO is on the table. However, when everything in the living room starts to melt, BMO is not seen anywhere on screen. When the invisible troll took Finn's shoe, it has a shine, but for the rest of the shots, it no longer has the shine. As BMO walks to and climbs on the table to play Conversation Parade with Finn and Jake, the M on BMO's side is reversed, but then corrected by the end of the game. After smashing the mirror in his prison, Ice King is holding 2 shards of the mirror, but in the next scene he is only holding 1. This is proved to be an error due to no sound effect being created during the transition of the scenes. In the first shot, when Ice King is holding up a mirror before it shatters, Finn is on the left and Jake is on the right. However, when Ice King is holding up the mirror shard again, Jake is on the left and Finn is on the right. Just before releasing Ice King, when Finn says, "On your feet," his mouth does not move. When Finn and Jake are in Ice King's cell, the mirror he smashed is still leaning up against the cot. While Ice King was flying away from the Candy Kingdom, him, his eyes appear as black dots instead of white eyes. In the same scene, he appears to be flying away without using his beard or hair to fly. Several times during the episode, Ice King's crown jewels are pink instead of red. When Finn saves the old lady, she is slightly larger than Jake. However, when they arrive at Billy's lair, she is smaller than Jake, as she is able to ride his bun. Jake did not size change, as he is still the same size relative to Finn. When Jake finds the sword, his nose runs along it. This would cut him, but it didn't. When Finn and Jake first give LSP plastic surgery, they are wearing doctor outfits, but when they finish and walk outside, they have what they usually wear on. In this episode, Finn states that Jake has been his best friend for as long as he can remember, but in Memories of Boom Boom Mountain, Finn talks about himself all alone in the woods as a baby. When Finn plays the viola to release Jake from the gut grinder state, he held the viola with his right hand, but the next scene showed that he held the bow with his right hand. Though Finn said in What Is Life while singing his Never-Ending Pie song that Jake's face is ugly, in this episode he said Jake's face is cute. When Jake walks into the first town, the soft person said he was going to wee-wee. Then Jake said, "Wait, you're gonna wee-wee if I was the gut grinder?" without hearing anything about the gut grinder, since he just got there. Jake's viola only has 2 strings when it should have 4.